How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and you know what time it is today? We're going to be covering SNDL. There was a lot of action that went down in the market today, and we need to go over it. Also want to add in the disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So when you do invest, just know that you're doing it at your own risk. So one of the things that we need to look at today was a red day, and we especially felt it over here for anyone who is in SNDL, whether you're in it for the short term or you're in it for the long term. So what I usually do with these videos, I broke it down into a technical analysis, and I also put in some of the news and some of the updates that went down today that you need to know, especially if you're an investor or you're a trader. So let's get into it. All right, so let's get into the technical analysis for Sundial growers. Right now we're looking at the 5-day 5-minute chart. Today wasn't the best of days. We're actually down almost 22% on the day. A numerous amount of things happened, and I'm going to be covering that in the video today as well. So let's look over the chart first. So as you can see where we finished today, currently we were at $1.83. This is taken into consideration after hours. So when we look at these points, make sure you take a good look at my screen right here. So I'm looking at where we are. So we're floating between the 170 up to the 182 range. And one thing that we need to take into consideration is support. Right? If you're new to this channel, or you probably heard me say this before, is we need to find out where the next support line is because of the recent news that came out. So when we look at this chart, the next support line is around 161, right? And this is going back to when around February the 9th to February the 10th, it was able to hold this area. Didn't hold it quite well, didn't spend that much time there either. As you can see here, we didn't spend a ton of time there. The next level we need to look at, would there be a support level here? Maybe a little bit, but again, it is not a strong support level because as you can see, there's not much consolidation going across that area. Now look at this. When we go down to 122, right? The 120 area, we have a little bit of support here, right? But now, where it gets interesting, if we go further down, look at that. So let's spread out the chart a little bit. So we have a strong support area here around the $1.13 to $1.12 range. So for anyone who's considering to add and you believe in the company, again, this is an area where, again, if it ends up getting here, you might want to consider actually buying. So now let's go over the whole entire day. Let's switch it over. We're going to do the 1 day, 1 minute. All right, so we're going to bring the chart back out to where we were yesterday. So yesterday at close, as you can see, we closed around 219, right? So now, when the news came out, as you can see, we're going in a downward direction. As the next day came in, as soon as when pre-market started, we gapped down. We had a little bit of momentum coming back up, revisiting around the $2 area, moved up again around $2.02. So as we started going forward and forward and forward, progressing through pre-market, we had some consolidation here because that's what we know. We see these points inside the graph, as you can see, they're lining up. So we had some consolidation at $1.99, and then it continued going down, down, down. A lot of sell-offs happening due to the new news that came out. Again, I'm going to get into that very, very quickly after this technical analysis. So I just want to make sure that we stay on track here. So we saw we had some consolidation here around $1.89. You see that? There we go. So there's where the range is. So now as we get closer, it goes down. As you know, around 9 o'clock, many people who have their brokerages are just opening up. I know a lot of brokerages don't open until later. My brokerage opens up at 4 a.m. So what happens here, many people are logging in and they're seeing, oh, wait a second, $1.85, this is a good price to get SNDL at, because yesterday it closed at 219, right? So we had a big surge going in right into the open, and we ended up getting to $1.95, and this is coming from the area of $1.85. But then look what happens. We have a huge sell-off, as you can see right here. Let me just spread out the chart. So as you can see right here, look at this huge sell-off, and we literally get down to around $1.73. But as we know already, there's a lot of support in these particular areas. So of course, when it hit this area, it didn't stay there that long, and it ended up bouncing right back above VWAP, hitting $1.84. But again, so what happens here? We hit some resistance. So it got knocked right back down. we started hitting $1.76. And then here from 9:52 a.m., we had a strong push all the way to $1.93. And we actually did a pretty good job because as you can see right here, we have some support. And this is around $1.91 to $1.90 area. So not too bad. So we held that. We had a little bit of a drop, nothing too big because we recovered very quickly. But now we have some sell-offs going here. But the good thing about it is we are still above VWAP. We're still above the volume weighted average price, which is very important. As you can see, we break right here, and for quite some time, we can see we have a lot of consolidation in this area. So from all the way from 11:17 a.m. all the way down to 1:45, we had a ton of consolidation under $1.83. Usually when you see something like this happening, there's going to be a downward trend. Yes, we had some spikes, we had some moves that were above, but this didn't last too long at all. We also got to take into consideration the market wasn't as friendly, wasn't that friendly today. It's kind of been continuing on, but again, I'll go into that afterwards. So as we go down, we see that we have the support level around the $1.80 area, and then we go down again, right? Literally held down this area for about 5 to 6 minutes, and then we went down again. Again, what is this? Consolidation. This is a support area that we've been building out between this area. And then as we get closer, as towards the end of the day, we're going to have more people who are selling off and so forth. And that's where you see where it ended up closing the day at $1.71. From yesterday being $2.19, as you can see right over here. So what we need to realize that there were many buying opportunities here. As you can see from the RSI, right here we had 30. We know when it's around 30, then we know that it is oversold. So that means we can get good value. When it's over 70 or around 70, that means it's overbought. So you're paying a premium because there's a lot of volume and a lot of people are buying in. That's part of what we see right here at $1.93. If we go down and we see the RSI here, it's around 66. Because again, it made a big move, right? From what happened at open when it got down to 173. So automatically, if we look at the RSI here, it's around 22, which is very low. That's below 30. So when it made that move all the way up to $1.93, you already know, hey, that was it. That was really it. And now we got to realize at this point of resistance, it never reached that area for the rest of the entire day. It tried to do it up again here around 10:58 or so, close to 11, but there was just no juice. It wasn't getting past this area because I could tell you right now, if we would have been able to get past this particular area of $1.93, we would have definitely been able to revisit the next level here around $1.94 and potentially $1.98. Because usually in the first 2 hours of market open, again, that's where we have a lot of trading going on. There's a lot of psychology going on. It can get very bullish. So there was no doubt in my mind if we would have passed this top area of resistance, we would have definitely even been able to get to $1.96 and have more momentum to move up to $2. But anyways, so let's talk about what has happened today as far as recent news, because that's going to be very, very important going forward, especially if you're in this play for the short term or in it for the long term. So the first news that we hear is Sundial regains compliance with the Nasdaq minimum bid price rule. So many people were aware of this, and to kind of go into details of what it was all about, hey, SNDL ended up regaining compliance. So today, Nasdaq stock market has confirmed that the company has regained compliance with Nasdaq's minimum bid price requirements for continued listing on the Nasdaq capital market. As a result of the closing bid price of SNDL's common shares have been at $1 per share for or greater than at least 10 consecutive business days. The company has regained compliance with the Nasdaq's listing rules, and the matter is now closed. So again, this is great in regards to knowing that, hey, you know what, going forward, Sundial, they're out of the clear. They're in the clear right now, right? So the next thing that we need to look at is what happened and why it crashed. We're going to go into detail. We're going to do this article because it gets really straight and to the point. So why Sundial Growers stock crashed today? On a day when the Canadian marijuana grower Sundial Growers announced it has regained compliance to remain listed on the Nasdaq exchange, shareholders are punishing the stock for a different reason. So here's what happened. Shareholders today are reacting to a shelf registration the company filed with the Security and Exchange Commission yesterday. It will allow Sundial to issue up to $1 billion in securities, including common shares, preferred shares, and any regulated guarantees, warrants, rights, and units over time. The potential dilution to existing shareholders comes after the company has already raised $175 million in security offerings just the start of the year. So again, there's a potential chance that shares are going to get diluted, which is going to affect the stock price. Now what happens? Some of what recently raised capital was put to work yesterday. We spoke about this in yesterday's video. Check it out if you haven't, where they took an 18.5% stake in Canadian edibles producer Indiva and an almost 300% surge in the share price since the start of 2021 has helped Sundial regain compliance to remain listed, which we've already talked about. It has also brought the company market capitalization to about $2.8 billion. The filing to be able to potentially sell $1 billion of company securities, including new shares, has investors today fearing significant new share dilution. The filing does not mean the company will sell new shares, only that it may. So there's a big maybe here. So that's the reason why a lot of investors and a lot of traders are very nervous and started selling off the stock. But some investors aren't waiting to find out, resulting in a big decline today, which we have covered. Now, Sundial has shored up its balance sheet with recent capital raises, so it's also unclear why it would need to initiate more shares of sales. Selling the stock today may be jumping the gun, as there is nothing wrong with having a plan in place. The business fundamentals are what determine if the company actually needs to raise new money. So this is one of the things we need to take into consideration, in the sense that, hey, Sundial's already did an offering not too long ago, right? They've already did that. So now it's like, hey, you know what? They want to get some more money, and that's potentially put on the table. And the amount of $1 billion is a lot. So these are one of the things we need to take in consideration. Anyone who's looking at SNDL long term, I highly suggest, you know what? Be patient. Don't rush into anything. I know the prices are looking really good, but as long as this is looming over the stock itself, there's going to be a lot of volatility. And again, you don't need to be trading in volatility. Wait for the right time to attack, like I show you guys on the charts. All right. So now we've already gone over that Sundial has ended up going down 21.46% on the day. But you know what's going on in after hours? It just had a little big move. I don't know if you guys can see that in the background there. Kind of just made a big move up to $1.85. But anyways, just to get back to it again. So again, these are areas that we really need to look at. If you're going to be planning to buy anytime soon and so forth, again, it looks like the $1.70 area is a good price for the time being. But hey, being more patient might be able to get you a better entry as well. All right. So now we got to look at what the market was like. So as you can see, the Dow was up, the Nasdaq was down 0.58%, and also the S&P 500 was down. You probably noticed that with a lot of stocks that were on your watch list as well. So that's something to take into consideration, that, hey, you know what? This is just one of those days where it's just continued. We had the same thing that went down yesterday. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some green coming up in regards to the overall market, in regards to the NASDAQ to be exact, all right? Because that's where a lot of stocks that I trade on and invest on are actually located, all right? So as you can see here, like, hey, Sundial made a little bit of a push here, and after hours just around, hey, like, yeah, 434 in the middle of this video, and it has kind of gone back down to 182. So I'll be very interested to see whether it gaps down tomorrow. If it ends up gapping down tomorrow, I could definitely see it revisiting that 170 area. If it ends up gapping up, then we could potentially start seeing around the 180, but potentially might be able to stay in the 180s to mid 180s. And then after, if there's a gap down, probably be around the 170s. All right. So there you have it. There's a lot of things that went down today for SNDL, and I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of this. Whether you're looking to get in, please be patient. With a lot of things looming above the company right now and not knowing what direction they may take or what decision they may make, the best thing you can do is wait and watch from the sidelines. Because the last thing that you want to do is buy in high, or again, just waste money going in at a high price point where you can get in at a better price point later on going further. All right. So I hope you guys found this helpful, and stay tuned for the video coming out after that one, because that's when I'll be dropping the joke of the day. Talk to you guys soon.